The remnants of Typhoon Halong caused catastrophic damage in western Alaska in mid-October, washing away houses, uprooting boardwalks and battering infrastructure in many small communities. At least one person was killed, and some 1,500 residents have been displaced, with officials predicting they may not be able to return to their homes for more than a year. Quinhagak, a small community near the Kuskokwim Bay of the Bering Sea, was largely spared from the most severe damage. However, the storm may have caused irreparable harm to the community's archaeological history, stripping away as much as 60 feet of shoreline and churning up thousands of delicate artifacts in the process. The community is home to roughly 800 individuals, many of them of Yupik descent. The Yupik people have inhabited the region for more than 1,500 years, making the land around Quinhagak a trove of archaeological treasures. For centuries, Yupik artifacts have been safely entombed in permafrost, a layer of ground that remains perpetually frozen. However, in recent years, the permafrost has started to thaw, and the coastline has begun to erode, causing some of the long-hidden artifacts to surface. Since 2009, Quinhagak residents have been collaborating with archaeologists to survey the area and preserve as many artifacts as possible. Most of the artifacts come from a site called Nunalleq, or the Old Village, which was likely inhabited by Yupik ancestors from around 1300 to 1650 CE. Nunalleq has produced the world's largest collection of pre-contact Yupik artifacts, offering rare insights into what life was like for the indigenous group before the arrival of the Russians. Roughly 100,000 items have been recovered so far, forming the extensive collection at the Nunalleq Museum in Quinhagak. Because permafrost is such a good preservative, the site has yielded an astonishing array of intact items made from organic materials that would have disintegrated under other circumstances, including fully intact wooden masks and bowls, fragments of sealskin clothing with original needle holes, and baskets made of grass that's still slightly green. But researchers and community members have always known many more objects were still lurking beneath the surface. The mid-October storm confirmed that hunch in the worst way possible, scattering as many as 100,000 artifacts, wooden masks still bearing traces of paint, carvings, fragments of kayaks, across the shore. Archaeologists who worked at the site for 17 years are devastated. Almost everything we know about pre-contact Yupik culture comes from that site, and it comes from that material. And it is basically the library of the past. It's like running into a library or museum that's on fire, and they're just running out with armloads of what we can save. Some 30 to 40 volunteers from the community have been scrambling to save whatever they can. So far, they've managed to recover around 1,000 objects, which are now being cleaned and preserved at the lab inside the museum. There, experts are soaking the items in fresh water to remove the marine salts and applying a chemical to help prevent them from shattering as they dry. These are organic artifacts, and although they look like they're in great shape, they're actually being held together by water. So, if they dry out, on their own or on the beach or in somebody's house, they'll fall apart very quickly. Now, however, freezing temperatures and ice have set in, forcing archaeologists and community members to halt their recovery efforts temporarily. They hope to return next spring.